Most people think that getting an education is the main thing that allows you to attain success.
It's not just staying in school, right?
But what if education isn't as important as innate talent and faith in yourself? By the end of this video, you'll find out what made these stars drop out of school.
I personally found school a bit of a miserable experience.
And you'll also learn who read Shakespeare in the car instead of attending classes. For Keanu Reeves, the high school experience was really difficult.
I mean, I didn't have a traditional path. I mean, I went to 4 different high schools.
As a teen, he was dyslexic, so reading was a problem for him. What's more, it was hard for him to fit in at school. He had many conflicts with the school staff, and he was considered a difficult child because he asked too many questions. I couldn't stop even if it got me into trouble, the actor shared. He also wanted more autonomy and hated it when someone tried to impose something on him. Keanu was gradually becoming a bigger problem for the staff, so he was expelled at 16. It was a shock for Reeves. It's a terrible letter to receive, saying you can't come back to school next year. Getting asked to leave was very upsetting, Keanu said, but he soon decided to take advantage of the situation and follow his acting aspirations.
I was lucky because I knew as a young person what I wanted to do.
Keanu took acting courses and found himself an agent. Not much time had passed before he started getting roles, so it looks like getting expelled was a blessing for him. Another actor who knew what he wanted to do was Daniel Radcliffe. He was interested in acting from an early age when he played in David Copperfield at just 10 years old.
I loved it from the word go.
Did.
I loved being on set, just knowing my place there.
Dan's big break came when he got to play the famous bespectacled boy who lived. He was 11 when he got the role, which means that he had years of school ahead of him still.
You could get away with a lot more running around and playing games on a film set than you can at school.
Eventually, just like Harry did when he had to find Voldemort's Horcruxes, Dan took a break from school when he was 17 and never returned.
Never got on with schooling very well.
One of the reasons he dropped out was the constant bullying. As soon as Radcliffe started playing Harry, his classmates' attitudes toward him changed. They became quite hostile. As Dan suggested, they probably weren't doing it out of jealousy, but just trying to have a crack at the kid that played Harry Potter. Surprisingly, it wasn't only his classmates who were giving him a hard time.
I personally found school a bit of a miserable experience.
As the actor once admitted, a couple of teachers shook his confidence quite a bit.
I wasn't particularly happy there. I think I just felt pretty sad and everything.
Only after he became famous did he gradually start restoring his confidence, with the help of the people working with him on the Harry Potter films. One more reason why Dan decided to quit was his disinterest in studying at school. I was kinda useless. I found the work really difficult, the actor once admitted. So it's pretty obvious that Dan decided he didn't really need a high school education. On the other hand, sometimes it seems like the whole world helps a person make it big. At least, that's what happened to Johnny Depp. You'll understand why in a minute. When Johnny was a teenager, his life wasn't good. He moved so much he had lived in 40 different places.
One time we moved from one house to the house next door.
Perhaps he was running away from something because his parents were having a hard time.
I never had that sense of home or security or whatever. So, and it was a somewhat violent upbringing.
Eventually, they got divorced. Depp did everything he could to somehow overcome the shock, but the divorce really affected Johnny, and his behavior started getting worse. School was the last thing he was interested in, and the only dream he had was becoming a rock star. Johnny's mother supported his aspirations and gifted him with a guitar for his birthday, and then another, much more unexpected person showed young Depp his support. Let me explain. Johnny decided to quit school to focus on his music career.
So, at a certain point, we were walking into the school with my friend late again. And I looked over and I said, I don't think I'm gonna go. I think I'm done.
But 2 weeks later, he started having second thoughts. The guy even went to the dean and asked if he could return, and he got a definitive no in response. The dean told Johnny he should follow his dream.
This is what you want. This is what you love. Go and learn that. Go do that. But don't come here and waste your time and my time.
Johnny and his band, The Kids, enjoyed modest success locally, but split a few years later. And just when Depp started thinking that leaving high school was a huge mistake, as the only work he could find was a ballpoint pen salesman.
At this point, I'll do anything. I just got to pay the rent. I was on the verge of being evicted.
His wife, Lori-Ann Allison, introduced Johnny to her ex, who happened to be Nicolas Cage. The latter suggested that Depp become an actor, and the rest is history. Next on our list is Johnny Galecki.
What are you really bad at? Math.
anything numeric.
He was a child star and then played a Caltech experimental physicist with a PhD in the Big Bang Theory. But in real life, he doesn't have a PhD or a college degree. In fact, he didn't even finish high school. Leonard would be so disappointed to know that.
Because me being in school is so important to you.
In an interview with Time Out Chicago, the actor admitted that he dropped out in the middle of 8th grade. Young Johnny avoided going to classes as much as he could, and in general, he only spent as little as 4.5 hours in high school because he quickly realized that it wasn't for him. Can you believe that? Interestingly, his parents didn't mind and just allowed their son to decide for himself. They probably saw that Johnny would do just fine without a high school certificate. Galecki was what you call street smart. He started living alone in a studio apartment when he was only 14, while working in his first big break, the sitcom American Dreamer.
You may be the one in school, but I'm the one who learned the lesson.
The actor went further afterward, and now he's one of the highest paid TV actors. Something to be proud of, right? Jessica Chastain also has a lot to be proud of, as she managed to become very successful without finishing school too. She did not have a happy childhood and did not like going to school at all. When Jessica was born, both of her parents were teenagers, so her family had a hard time. And since she had 2 brothers and 2 sisters, the struggle was real.
My family was very poor and we didn't have the money.
There were many nights when we had to go to sleep without eating, the actress shared. Jessica also struggled academically.
I was a bit of a loner as a child, sadly.
She considered herself a misfit at school. What's more, Jessica, according to her own words, was a terrible student, and she never graduated for a very peculiar reason. At the end of the year, I had too many absences to graduate, the actress revealed. Gee, that's rough. But she wasn't some lazy girl who didn't want to study and messed around instead of attending classes. In fact, Jessica would sit in her car reading Shakespeare. And to this day, the actress recalls how much she struggled with high school. I thought I wasn't an intelligent person because I did so poorly, Chastain confessed. And now she does her best to let other underperforming students know that not doing well at school doesn't mean they're stupid. The fact that she eventually became a successful actress proves that you only need to find your passion and follow your heart. Did we convince you that getting a high school diploma isn't that necessary? Of course, it doesn't mean that everyone should drop out of school and do what they please, but if you have a dream and the talent to make it come true, and the only thing that is stopping you is school, just go for it. Educate yourself and follow your passion.